everyone. Welcome back to Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. I'm Charles Skaggs, one of your co-hosts here, as we talk some more Twin Peaks from the Showtime era in 2017 with my other co-host with the most, everybody's favorite, Xan Sprouse. Hi, Xan. How you doing?
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm everybody's favorite because you're my favorite, Charles.
No, you're my favorite.
Well, you're my favorite.
You're more favorite than me.
You're my favorite infinity.
You're my favorite infinity plus one.
You don't know nothing about science.
All right. You're my favorite infinity to the infinite power.
Oh, and I see you're bringing all kinds of mathematical jargon into it now. So
Yep. I could throw in multiverses and all kinds of stuff here. So
just in an
you're
infinite
just
amount,
just keep in mind I'm a physics geek. So yeah.
an infinite amount of universes, you're my favorite in all of them.
All right. So if everybody out there is probably sick and nauseated by now of us like complimenting each other, here at episode 59, we're going to talk The Stars Turn and a Time Presents Itself.
I'm starting to wonder what it would be like if Chip and Dale had been physicists. That's what it would sound like.
Okay. Interesting. Why would you bring Chip and Dale into it?
Because they're like, oh no, but I insist after you. Oh, but you.
You mean no, those are the Goofy Gophers.
That is Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale were Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the Goofy Gophers from Looney Tunes.
No,
Then was there really no you.
that was a Chip and Dale thing.
I beg to differ. I think that's the
All right.
Goofy
So,
Gophers.
somebody Google that for us
All
because
right.
I'm pretty sure it's Chip and Dale.
All right. All
So,
right. We'll see. We'll get back to you on that one because
all right.
we don't want to digress already. We just started this podcast. All right. So yeah, we're going to talk The Stars Turn and Time Presents Itself, a.k.a. Part 2 of Twin Peaks: The Return, the second episode of Twin Peaks from 2017 from Showtime, the revival, a.k.a. the third season of Twin Peaks.
Things are about to get real for Matthew Lillard.
That's right. Yep. Yep. But first, before we get into that, we need to talk about something.
Yeah.
Something that happened a few weeks ago, and I have to apologize to all our Ghostwood listeners out there because last week I kidnapped Xan over on Next Stop Everywhere.
I got
So
kidnapped. I got thrown into the TARDIS.
she was hijacked. She was shanghaied. Well, take your pick. But yeah, we Xan was kind enough to join us for Next Stop Everywhere 150, where we talked The Stolen Earth / Journey's End, and she was one of 6 people on that podcast, one of our 4 special guest companions, joining us for our 5th anniversary / 150th episode. She's a doll on that. If you love her here, you will definitely love her on Next Stop Everywhere. So I'm not going to get into that because I know, we're talking Twin Peaks here, but if you don't like Doctor Who at all, I think with Xan being there and having fun and all of us there, it's a really great episode, and I hope you check it out. And
I,
we'll tell you how to do that a little later. But
Thank you very much, Charles. I had a great time, so thank you for having me. And I think everybody listening now should listen to that because I did try to throw in a couple of Twin Peaks references, and I think everybody should try and catch those.
yeah, I caught them.
I know you did.
I'm not sure how many of the others did.
It was just for you and me and our
Exactly.
Ghostwood.
That was our little private thing.
That was our little inside joke.
Exactly,
So,
our little inside baseball.
yeah.
But so as a result of that, we weren't able to talk about what happened back on July 20th, 2019, when Xan, her husband Chris, and I went to go see, just Ray Wise and Sheryl Lee from Twin
No big
Peaks.
deal.
No big deal.
Yeah.
When we went to go see the Mike McGrainer Presents the Director Series screening of Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me at the Studio 35
Heck yeah.
Cinema and Draft House. So
Yeah, we did.
that was all kinds of awesome, wasn't it?
That was simultaneously one of the greatest and one of the worst nights of my life. I have to be honest with you there.
Okay, so
Um,
now you have to explain why.
well, part of the deal with this is that Ray Wise and Sheryl Lee, who are Amazing people, by the way. They are fantastically sweet, kind human beings, and they seem to love hanging out with their fans. They love talking about a show they did 25 years ago. They're really, really wonderful people. Part of the deal was is they did signatures and photos.
Yes.
And my photos got corrupted and we weren't able to. They got lost in the transfer from camera to computer. So they're gone.
So you must have like cut and pasted and something that happened in the corruption because you would think it would still be on your phone, right?
No, they're gone. It's
They're,
like the phone did the delete after import, and
oh.
so the phone thought they imported, but the computer somehow didn't get the. And it was those and like 50 other photos were
And no,
missing.
and no way to undelete.
We have no idea where they went. So the thing is, I know I met Sheryl Lee and Ray Wise. You know I met Sheryl Lee and Ray Wise. Everybody else
I'm a
knows.
witness. Yes.
And I hate photos of myself anyway, so I am now in the acceptance
And there's
mode.
absolutely no reason for that, by the way.
Yeah, there's a I'm in the acceptance mode of the stages of grief.
Right.
So, however,
Yes.
that was one camera. There was another camera that was working, and that one still the photos are on the phone.
Okay.
So,
So
fortunately,
you do have some photos.
I have some photos, but they're just of Sheryl Lee and Ray Wise. But here is one of the things I have. Let me make sure I have this turned up.
Yes.
So I have a live version of him singing Mersey Dotes.
That was one of the things that Ray Wise was kind enough to do during the Q&A. They did like a half-hour Q&A with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Ray did the whole Mersey Dotes Dozy Dotes song.
Yep.
And of course, the entire theater just erupted with this. They're just cheered, just geeking super hard over this little thing. And credit to Ray Wise, he's one of those guys, the vibe that I got off of him essentially is he's like the William Shatner of Twin Peaks.
He's a
But
ham. He's
but
definitely a performer and a
he
ham.
knows how to work a crowd, but not like like I know a lot of people don't like Shatner for some understandable reasons in a lot of ways.
Shatner knows how to work a crowd.
But Shatner knows how to work a crowd exactly, and so does Ray Wise. Ray knows how to work a room, and he's charismatic as all get out.
Mm-hmm.
And he, it just he just won everybody over, and Sheryl, by contrast, she's very open, but in a lot of ways she's obviously not as overt. She's not as she's a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Just she's not as I want to say she's personable, but I want to say she's more introspective.
She's a very deep person.
Right.
She's very deep. She's very introspective, thoughtful.
Right.
She's very positive, very loving person, but she's very understated. She's a low-key personality.
Right.
And so I think and what's adorable watching them together is that Ray Wise, if he's got, he's probably one of those guys that if there's a fly in his car, he's got an audience. He seems to really love having an audience, and he does a great job with it.
Right.
And she seems to love to be his audience. He cracks her up, and it's adorable to watch them tell stories together because he'll tell a story and she'll just laugh and laugh,
yeah.
and
she'll beam that Sheryl Lee smile that's so distinctive.
Oh yes, and she'll just laugh and laugh almost like you are watching a father and daughter because she's been hearing these stories for 25 years and they've done events together and they seem to really get along with each other very well, and it was a really wonderfully positive evening just to listen to the two of them. And they we spent probably about an hour and a half in line getting autographs and talking to them, and that's because they wanted to talk to everybody. It
Right.
was, and
They
we
neither of them really rushed anybody through.
not at all. And we talk about this a lot at comic book conventions when we hear someone in line complaining how long the line takes. And what I always say to them is, you're going to be really happy when it's you,
Right.
because they're getting what you want. And so, we got to talk to them, and they, like, Ray Wise got up and hugged me. It was really sweet.
Right.
I gave them the URL for our podcast, and I said, listen, if you guys are ever driving around and you think to yourself, it would be really nice right now to listen to people talk about how amazing I am. That's what we can provide.
That's the service we provide.
That's the service we provide to everybody who's ever worked on Twin Peaks in the history of anything. So and they seemed interested to hear that. I wasn't trying to like pimp them out for the podcast or anything. I just wanted them to know it exists.
Right.
And know that we are here, and they did something that we still love and we still talk about, and that we think that they're fantastic. And I just wanted to make sure that they knew that. And they seemed to like hearing that, and I think that was fantastic. And we met some great people there too. Just not Sheryl Lee and Ray Wise, but we got to hang out with Mike a little bit more. Because usually
Mike McGrainer, the host of the event, yeah.
Mike McGrainer, usually when we're at these events, he's hosting it, so he's busy.
Right.
And we also met Scott Ryan, who is the person behind Blue Rose Magazine and the Red Room podcast, which I did a guest spot on. The
Right.
Red Room podcast.
I was just going to say, you kind of cheated on our podcast a little bit with another podcast.
I kind of did. It just sort of happened. It's like, hey, do you want to be in the podcast tomorrow night? I'm like, okay. So, but
I appreciate you getting the word out on Red Room about us.
Yes. Yeah, Scott and I are new besties. We have lots of things in common, and we made fast friends. Scott and I did, and Scott is very pop culture aware. He's written a book about Letterman. He's written a book about 30-something. And he's currently writing a book about moonlighting, which I'm very, very excited about. So,
and I'm a big moonlighting fan as well, so
yeah.
That has my interest as well.
He just interviewed Curtis Armstrong.
Oh, yes, who played Herbert Viola on
Herbert Viola. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check out BlueRoseMag.com to see what Scott's up to. And if you are out there listening and thinking, wow, Sheryl Lee and Ray Wise, and you get to watch Fire Walk with Me at the same time, how do I get down on that action? Well, Mike is taking this show on the road, people. So who knows? This may come to your town sometime. And if you are anywhere near Detroit, Michigan, November 9th,
interesting.
You can go see this event. So if you are on Facebook, look up Beyond the Black Lodge Tour for dates and information and ticket information, and maybe you will be able to have as an amazing night as we had.
But obviously here in Columbus, we got to do it first. So
we did it. Yeah, we did it first, but it was so popular and everybody loved it that I am.
He had multiple. He started off with just the one Saturday night screening, and then it turned into like, okay, I'm going to do a Sunday screening, and then I'm going to do a Saturday afternoon screening, and a Sunday afternoon screening,
and a Friday
screening, and I'm just like, okay, it must be pretty exhausted by now, but they didn't show it. This would have been their third. By the time they got to the original Saturday evening screening on the 20th of July, it was pretty much you thought, okay, they're going to be burned out by now of doing this, but nope, no sign of that at all. They were so welcoming and engaging, and I told both Ray and Sheryl just how appreciative we were that they came out to Columbus, and especially it was such a hot day that day. It was like 90 degrees that day, and all kinds of humid and sticky and whatnot, and they still came out, and it was really appreciative, or at least I was really appreciative of it.
Too. Yeah, Sheryl Lee, I was wearing a dress, and Sheryl Lee said to me, she said, wow, your dress is so pretty. I said, pants. She's like, oh God, yeah, wearing dresses. It's too hot.
You might have to say that again because your Skype was glitchy.
Oh, my Skype is glitchy. I said that Sheryl Lee complimented my dress. I was wearing a dress, and I said I said, "Oh God, yeah." I just threw it on because it's not pants, and she said, "Oh, of course, no one's wearing pants. We're all wearing dresses right
Right,
now
right.
because it was very very hot." But they had a lovely time. It almost seemed like watching Ray and Cheryl interact with Mike. They were like all this new trio of besties, and it was just very positive, I think, for everyone. And I hope they had as good of a time as we did because we had a fantastic, fantastic time.
Yeah.
And we got to spread the word about Ghostwood. We got to see Fire Walk with Me in the theater, which I haven't seen in the theater since it came out.
Yeah, and I think that was my third time watching
Okay.
it because I think I'd watched it once when it originally was released. I took my wife Lori. That was our first movie together out here in Columbus, solo. We had seen Batman Returns with a bunch of friends first out in New Jersey, um, but this was the first time she came out to Columbus, and I took her to go see Twin Peaks Fire Walk with me, and somehow she's still married to me.
And she still married you. Wow, that's impressive, man.
And, well, the blackmail helps, I guess. But the then I saw it again. I think Kappa was doing something, maybe in one of their summer movie events.
Oh,
I got to
okay.
see it then, and for the second time, and this was the third time. And just I love seeing this movie on the big screen. I know it's a lot of people they don't really consider it David Lynch's finest film, but I really like this film. I think and it's such, and especially now after The Return, which we're going to talk about here shortly, it's become such an important part of the overall Twin Peaks saga.
Oh yeah.
It's more
Oh yeah.
important now than it was when it was originally released. Now, a lot of it, with obviously bringing in Philip Jeffries and whatnot, it matters more. And
And,
there's a lot of things that you didn't pick up when you watched this movie in the theater originally that you kind of make connections to now after watching The Return.
and as we see, Charles, when we go through the return again, there were some parts of Fire Walk with Me where we watched it initially and we just said, "What? Why would you even bother?"
Right.
Specifically, the scene and I'll talk about this more when we get to that episode. Specifically, the scene with Heather Graham as Annie in bed with Laura,
Yeah.
and and for years we thought, okay, that was apropos of nothing, but no, it was not. It means a lot. It's a big deal that we'll soon find out in the return. And it was funny that Chris made a comment because Chris is sort of coming at this from I don't want to say not a fan perspective, but from a Twin Peaks layperson perspective.
Twin Peaks spouse perspective.
More,
Because he had never seen Fire Walk with Me. This is his first time seeing that
this is
movie.
his first time seeing Fire Walk with Me, and he had seen the first and the last episodes of Twin Peaks, and he only saw what was in between. Right, he binged it right before the return came,
So God only
and
knows what he thought of it.
he watched the first and last episodes of the return, and then occasionally watched them in between with me. But he's definitely a Twin Peaks layperson, and so we're watching this movie, and there's the scene with Heather Graham where Laura wakes up, turns over, sees Annie bloody in her bed,
Right.
and then she turns and she looks in her hand and she doesn't have the ring anymore, and she's really surprised and kind of afraid of that. And Chris leans over to me, he says, "So she's fine with the fact that there was a dead girl in her bed and now not in her bed, but she's scared that there's no ring anymore." And I said, it all just comes together when you all put it together
Right.
as one big clump in your brain. So,
Well, we don't know everything Laura's been through. Maybe that was just nothing compared to some of the stuff she's seen over the years.
well, and I do believe that this is not the first time that we have seen Dale Cooper in her mind,
Right.
or that she's seen Dale Cooper in her mind. So when you see Dale Cooper look at you and say, "Don't take the ring," and then the ring's there, now the ring's gone, and oh my God, and the ring's tangible, and the ring is not as big of a deal as we thought it was going to be, but the ring's a pretty big deal.
Do I remember, if I remember correctly, wasn't there an entry in the diary of Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, where she had seen Cooper in a dream before, um,
Oh,
s- the whole after she died and everything, that whole thing.
mm-hmm,
So she had actually seen him before.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, he was like, so she's fine with Bloody Annie
Right.
being in her bed, but she's scared of the ring. I'm like, yeah, it's just Twin Peaks, honey. You just got to let that Twin Peaks mode turn on in your brain for
Yeah.
for this to go
It
right.
doesn't
So
need to make sense. It just looks cool.
it's just as Twin Peaks. That's
Yeah,
how. Forget it, Jake. It's Twin Peaks.
exactly. Nice. All right. So are you ready to talk The Return Part 2?
Yes, definitely. And if on the off chance Ray Wise is listening,
Yes.
go ahead and turn this off because this next bit is not going to have you in it. So,
No, actually, he's in it for a little bit.
oh
This
yeah, he is
this
in
is
this.
this is the episode where he should be very glad because
Yeah,
that was one of the things that we forgot to talk about was that Ray
he had a
Ray
little running
Ray
joke.
Ray seems to have a little bit of an issue with the fact that he only has two words in The Return.
Yeah, and he kept making a joke. He's like, "That's just more
Right.
Twin Peaks. That's not me." He kept
Right.
making a joke about
Yeah.
that. It was very funny. So
I mean, but he did it in a very tongue-in-cheek way. He didn't sound bitter at all. I don't want to give that impression.
no, God, no. He was just joking
But
around.
he was playing up the fact that he only had like
Yeah,
two words of dialogue in the entire thing.
yeah, and he was totally joking around about it. I don't know if Charles, have you ever seen Start the Revolution Without Me?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's Gene Wilder and Donald Sutherland.
Okay. That's an
And
interesting pairing.
it's a very interesting pairing. And the beginning is,
Two people that should have been Doctor Who.
oh my God. So you know those lists that
Yeah.
couples have, Charles,
Right.
of their freebies in their marriage?
Right.
Donald Sutherland is number one on my list.
That's an interesting one. Was it? Did you
Yeah.
did he somehow end up on your list after Animal House where he showed off his butt when he reached up to get something off the top shelf in the kitchen or whatever?
Legit my favorite scene in Animal House, and I am not going to sit here and try and pretend like I don't have the Criterion Blu-ray of Don't Look Now.
That's
Because I totally do.
that's hilarious.
And I know all you gentlemen out there are watching Julie Christie, but I'm not, baby. So
She likes
anyway,
she likes the original
so yeah, Donald Sutherland is,
Hawkeye.
hell yes, I do.
Yep.
So yeah, Donald Sutherland is like my guy. Like number two,
Okay.
Jim Kerr from Simple Minds. Anyway,
Okay.
but so Donald Sutherland is anyway,
those are your two passes.
those are my two guineas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Start the Revolution Without Me, there's an opening bit with Orson Welles where he's talking about and they've made this film, a film that I'm not in, and then, and Ray Wise sort of felt like Orson Welles to me in that situation. That he's just totally riffing on the fact, like, yeah, but it's not me. just completely joking on it. So I think we have to definitely have a disclaimer of how much Ray Wise will be in this episode from now on.
Exactly. But he is technically he's in it.
I
So
thought he was in episode 3. I gotta watch
no,
the show
it's
and
this one.
do it.
All right. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
let's
we're
watch the return because
all right. So
I'm
you.
apparently behind my return trivia, so we got to do this.
All right. So yeah. So everybody, for those playing it, the home game. We are on the 1 minute 33 mark, 33-second mark, where the screen is black just after the spinning chevron floor of the Black Lodge as the
Now,
credits end. And of course, this is the episode that aired with episode 1 on May 21st, 2017. Zane and I were fortunate enough to watch together
yeah.
when it originally aired. Written, of course, by Mark Frost, directed by David Lynch, and lots of good stuff in this
All
one.
right.
I actually like episode 2 better than I like episode 1. But we get a lot of new characters in this one, so everybody stay tuned for that.
Yep.
Okay, I've got my headphones in.
Charles would
My
like-
second pair of headphones.
Yep.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let me make sure this is. All right, hold on a minute. Come back. Sorry, I got a little thrown here.
Come back, Zink.
Okay. All right. So I'm ready,
All right.
and we'll do this. Everybody, get your thing queued up, and we'll do this in 3, 2, 1. Doink.
Ah, crap, crap, crap.
Oh, do we need to start over?
Got to start over because my Blu-ray player has decided to just spit up on me.
All right, sorry everybody.
All right, sorry.
Technical difficulties. Let's try this
Uh,
again. Oh, hold on.
okay,
I gotta
let's
cue mine up now.
see.
See,
All right. Okay,
this is the problem with the whole synchronization thing. So,
all right.
but hey, at least we figured out a way to do these commentaries, right?
Yep, at least we figured something out. Okay, so what we're
Hold
gonna
on,
do
hold on.
is we're gonna have the spinning chevron, and now it's dark, and I'm paused and I'm ready to go whenever you are, Charles.
All right, I got about 5 more seconds here.
Okay. Everybody at home, go get a snack.
Or press pause. There you go. All right. Okay. So if everybody's ready, we're gonna try this again.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Doink.
Zoinks. All right.
Yep. There's everybody's favorite principal, Bill Hastings.
Things are looking bad for Principal Hastings.
I got to work in this Propecia.
I would just like to remind everyone of my all-time favorite Matthew Lillard quote, which is, "My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me."
Zoink Scoob!
Zoinks. I don't know how many Scream fans we have out there, but I'm a huge Scream fan. So
The first movie I really love.
the second one, Revenge Story, so of course I like it. Third one, Carrie Fisher, so you gotta love it.
Yep.
All right, here's
So,
the.
so here's Bill getting some bad news from his horrible wife.
Well, they're not exactly the picture perfect marriage, either
Phyllis.
one of them. Yeah, Phyllis is my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in so much trouble right now. But yeah, he's
Played by Cornelia Guest.
fantastic. Yeah, I have to tell you that I've been having sex with this librarian, and she's now decapitated. It's there's really no good way to say this.
Yeah, he should go like, I did not kill anybody.
I did not kill anybody. Ray Wise reference.
Yep. You see what I did there?
Yeah. Just, even when you're not here, Ray Wise, you're here.
Exactly. You matter. You matter, Ray Wise.
Yeah, Ray Wise matter. Okay, so here's the thing. He's trying to say I didn't kill her, but I was doing her.
Right.
So, and I kind of dreamt that I killed her, but I didn't. And I'm going to go ahead and say that if somebody you dreamt about dying, that you murdered, shows up murdered, keep that dream to yourself is all I'm saying.
But here's the weird part is that she tells him, I knew about your affair, and he goes, well, I knew that you were having an affair.
With my lawyer, so things are not looking good.
Everybody's having affairs.
You have an affair, and you have an affair. Yeah, so she's sleeping with the lawyer, so he's not going to do very well.
No.
With
the divorce. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Bye, Bill. See you later.
That's okay. She won't be doing too well by the end of this episode.
Yeah, this does not end well for either one of these people.
Nope.
Oh. And although I will say that I'm not condoning having an affair on your spouse.
In Bill's case, I think it's justified.
Well, I don't know. It's not even that. I just think Bill had, he had some interesting outside interests that he shared.
Yeah, well, obviously he couldn't share this with his wife, so he happened to meet Ruth Davenport.
Yes.
And they had this common interest, and like, hey, let's go start up our own GeoCities website.
You've been to the Zone too?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so he's got he certainly has common interest with her, but it didn't necessarily need to turn into
no
brown chicken, brown cow or anything like that.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
You never heard that before?
I've never heard that before.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Oh, okay, all right. Now I get it. All right.
I thought I'd dust up an old chestnut for us today, Charles.
That's awesome.
Brown chicken, brown cow. I haven't heard or said that in years. I don't know what inspired me, but
That's
that's where
cute.
that comes
That's cute.
from. Oh.
Oh, now here's a very interesting scene. So let's
Oh.
just go away like about a few cells away. Oh,
Who
what?
is that?
Who in the world can that scroungy guy be?
What?
It's a
My
woodsman.
my God, that is terrifying.
And then he just like disappears.
Now he's gone,
He's gone.
and he's also decapitated.
And now, obviously, by this time, at this point, it's only episode 2. We have no idea who the woodsmen are. So when we
We have
watched this the
no
first
clue.
time, we were just going, what was that all about?
Yes. Now, Charles, we are of the same consensus, correct? That Jürgen Prochnow is one of them
Oh,
in
yeah. I think it's established that, yeah.
in Firewalk
He
with
was,
Me.
he was the first woodsman in Firewalk with Me.
He's just not burned to a crisp. Uh-oh. Okay, when you come home from a hard day of finding your husband in prison and you see Doppelganger Cooper,
Yeah.
that's the last day you're ever going to have. Oh, and oh goodness.
You're going back to Missoula, Montana.
Ah. So he's going to kill her.
And I'm glad you're dead.
I'm glad he's dead. So he's going to kill her
Right?
with her paramour's gun.
Exactly. So he's going to pin the blame on the lawyer.
Showtime, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, Nevada,
Gore and boobies.
and Celine Dion,
Well, and actually, the Beatles' love for Cirque du Soleil. Oh my goodness.
Lori and I went to go see that, by the way.
Was it good?
It was good. It was very good. I recommend if you go out there, go see the Love Cirque du Soleil thing that's based on the Beatles music.
Cool.
It's fantastic. I'm not a big Cirque du Soleil guy, but I really enjoyed that because I'm a big Beatles geek.
Gotcha. See,
If you're not that into the Beatles, you may not find it as interesting, but I just enjoyed the music more than anything.
I'm a big Beatles geek, but I've never, for some reason, I've never gotten around to doing the Cirque du Soleil thing. Like
Yeah.
I've been in Vegas when it was Love and when it was Mystique and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but I haven't gotten around to it.
So here we're introduced to Patrick Fischler as Duncan Todd,
Duncan Todd.
not Duncan Hines. That's someone totally different.
He's not exactly a nice guy, so
Nope.
yeah. So he's telling him that
And
somebody.
he's probably like a cousin of David Desmalchian. He's got that kind of look about him.
I think he's who you get when you can't get David Desmalchian.
Probably. He's the
Maybe
backup. He's the backup David Desmalchian.
Or maybe David Desmalchian is the backup him, but I'm sorry. After Ant-Man, David Desmalchian can do no wrong, in my opinion.
Right.
And then, and of course after Blade Runner 2049 too. So who has a job, shall we say? What's going on? The
Yeah.
plot continues to thicken here in part 2 of episode 1.
There's lots of stuff about him and do these things and very vague mafia-like terms.
Very vague mafia-like terms. This is very true. So, and here we have the train tracks at Sparkwood in 21. Is that what's going on here?
I don't know. It seems like it. It seems like it should be.
It should be, It's got a very Sparkwood in 21 feel to it. So,
It's a choo-choo.
a couple of engines. It's going to be a long train. That's what we talk about here in the Midwest
Yep.
because we're stopped by trains all the time.
Exactly. Now we're in a shot here, and this diner looks a lot like inside the Double R Diner, doesn't it?
It does, but
That's a very similar shot.
yep.
But it's not. But this is not the Double R Diner. And you notice Mr. C is eating cream corn.
I love that Mr. C is eating cream corn. I think that is fantastic.
Garmonbozia.
Electricity.
I expressly asked for no cream corn.
Cream corn for dinner tonight. I hate cream corn. Does that mean I'll never grow up?
That and the broccoli. Was it Brussels sprouts?
Asparagus.
Asparagus. All right, I knew it had to be one of those.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It
it's
was
asparagus.
asparagus. I'll give you points for that.
Poor Ray and Daria. They think they can play Mr. C, but Mr. C is
He's like way above their level.
he's kind of evil incarnate. So
He's playing chess while they're just playing Connect Four.
pretty much, yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and say, probably for the first time in a number of times that I'm going to say this, why Kyle MacLachlan doesn't have all the Emmys. Like,
Well, he plays three characters in this show.
he should have been nominated for Best Actor for Mr. C, Best Supporting Actor for Dale Cooper, and Best Supporting Actor for Ducky Jones.
Exactly. He needs
So
all the nominations.
he needs all the Emmys all the time. It's just incredible. So, yeah, Ray, don't try to bargain with Mr. C because you're going to die.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know, and
So basically, he's got to reassure that he's going to get the Mr. C some information that he needs
he's got to get him some information,
from Betty, Bill Hastings' secretary.
some coordinates is what he needs.
Yeah, and
So
Mr. C's like, I don't need it, I just want it.
I don't, and when you need something, it becomes a responsibility. Charles, I got to start eating dinner before we watch the show.
Are you getting hungry again?
Because either I want donuts or right now I really want some spaghetti. That looks really good. That sounds tasty.
Donuts. Oh.
Uh,
And now it's dark.
now it's dark.
It's like Ghostwood here.
Like Ghostwood here. Here's to Billy.
Here's to Billy.
Oh, who's this?
Oh, let's just take another flashlight trip through the woods.
Because, Bobby killed a guy.
Yep, Bobby killed the guy. Now this was a very cool. You get to hear some very familiar music from Angelo Badalamenti.
Heck yeah, you do.
That whole like Glastonbury Grove music.
Yep.
Yep.
So Charles, I got to see, oh God.
Yes, the log lady.
Oh God.
It's Margaret Lanterman.
And now Xan is crying. The late, great Catherine Coulson. And it's Hawk, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen.
It's Hawk.
Hawk is amazing. Where are you walking tonight? How does she know? I like to think
Because she's plugged in. It's her cool tattoo.
It's her cool tattoo, yeah. I like to think that Margaret and Hawk have been having conversations like this for the last 30 years.
I would love that.
That's so that'd be so amazing. Oh, and this is
Because obviously he's not surprised that she's calling.
no, he's not surprised at all. And this, of course,
And they're two of the more spiritual characters on the show.
absolutely. Yeah, he's come over to her house for coffee and pie.
Yeah.
More
And
than
probably
once.
since her illness, he's probably has kept close watch on her.
I'm sure he has, because as you can see here, the oxygen and the lack of hair, that is real. This is right before the late Catherine Coulson passed away from
And it's
cancer.
amazing that she didn't even try to, put on a wig or something. She just was,
God love her.
just as truthful and honest as it gets here.
God love
As raw as it gets.
Yeah, she's just, this is me. And Margaret
Unflinching.
Margaret Lanterman would not have done that either.
No.
So
Margaret,
there's,
had a much more different set of priorities.
yeah. What did Hawk just find in the woods?
Yep. Uh-oh.
I'm just thinking about when we originally saw the curtain.
And I'll see you,
And
you'll see me.
And I'll see you in the branches that blow.
And Hawk is kind of focusing in a little bit. And then we cut away to the red curtains of the Black Lodge.
So now we're inside, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Now, did Hawk get to see those curtains? I don't think so.
Hawk saw the curtains outside, but I don't think Hawk made it inside. I don't think he's close enough to the
Right.
oil. Oh my God! I want all of the furniture.
This needs to be my basement of solitude, by the way.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm working on it.
You're a step closer than I am.
Got a similar chair, and here we have Philip Gerard.
The return of Al Strobel as Mike.
Yes, because we do not have any Michael J. Anderson in this series.
No, we do not. So essentially, Al Strobel
So,
kind of fills in when it's not the arm.
well, and if you remember from the final episode of Twin Peaks, Michael J. Anderson's character says, "When you see me again,
It
it
won't be
won't
me.
be me."
Right. Yep.
He was not kidding.
Oh, he just popped away.
Whoop, see ya.
People come and go so quickly here. Oh, wait, that was a different movie.
That's another magical fairyland.
Exactly. There she
And,
is.
oh,
Back
there's
in back
Laura.
in black.
And that is the same dress, y'all. And there she is. There's Sheryl Lee as Laura Palmer, just walking right back into this role like it's nothing. She's so incredible. Again, all the Emmys.
Still looking amazing.
Well, and she just still can just go right back into putting Laura on.
Right.
And I've said before that she can do Laura, she can do Carrie, she can do Maddie, and even though they all look exactly the same, she does a very good job of making them just miles different from each other.
Well, as we had confirmed during our little Twin Peaks Q&A,
Hmm.
um, Cheryl has a hard time separating herself from Laura.
I have a
She
feeling.
essentially embodies the character when she
Yeah.
takes it on,
Well, I've said before
probably
that
in a method acting kind of way.
Dale Cooper is the role that Kyle MacLachlan was born to play,
Right.
and Laura Palmer is definitely the role that Sheryl Lee was meant to play. I have a friend out of Cincinnati named Amy Flesher who has a store on Etsy where she makes these. She burns images into glass and then makes either that's where your nightlight came from, Charles.
Right. Which I still
And
have and is awesome.
awesome. And I have, if you guys ever see me out and about and I'm wearing little square necklaces with faces on them, Amy Flesher made those.
That's cool.
So I wore my Laura Palmer one to the event, and she thought it was very, very cool. Amy Flesher, by the way, on Etsy is Hunky Dory Designs, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, like, can I touch it?" And I said, "You know what?" And I took it off, and I was going to give it to her. I said, "You can have it because I have a second one." And she held up her hands and she said, "No, I have to separate myself from Laura.
Wow.
I have to separate myself from her." So she said, "Thank you so much for offering, but I have to be separate from her."
Yeah.
And
So here's Laura telling Cooper that, "Oh, I'm dead and I'm
yeah,
alive. Take your
I'm,
pick."
yeah, I'm whatever needs to happen. Yes, I am dead, yet I
Yeah.
live, which is, you know, kind of.
And here's the part that blows your mind when we saw this the first time. She touches her face, and you're like, "Okay, what is she doing?" She
Oh,
removes her face,
oh
people.
my God.
Like,
Well, you
holy
know,
crap for crap.
her mom could do that too. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah, she obviously got it from her mother's side. The
this is an
fam-
inherited trait, and we'll talk about that more later. So,
and
2007.
Cooper at this point is going, "What?"
Kyle MacLachlan with his very well done dye job actually. And what I think is interesting is we said this before that Kyle MacLachlan now 25 years later with his hair dyed black
Right.
looks younger than his makeup job.
Looks much better in 25 years later than his actual or
Than
his
his
makeup
makeup
as
job
a
from
25-year-old Dale Cooper.
than
Or
his
older.
1991 makeup job.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's so I don't know what the
So
water's like in Portland where he's mayor, but
it's working for him. Well,
it's
it's all that spice melange.
that's what does it, man. That's he can travel through time and get all the great products, I guess. But
He who
yeah,
controls the spice controls the
control.
nice skin tone, I guess. I don't know.
Controls you controls the spice, controls the
Now here's a
agent.
nice reset of
Oh
when
yeah.
Laura whispered into Cooper's or kissed him and then whispered in his ear.
It was my father that killed me.
Yep.
So yeah, I love this throwback, and I love that this is the same shot. I love that it's the same dress. I think it's fantastic.
They completely recreated that scene from all those years ago.
Yep. Oh my God, this show's so good.
So we were geeking out really, really hard when we watched this.
We're geeking out, and like Chris and Lori are like, yeah, okay, I guess this means something to them. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
And we're looking at them like, how could you not think this is not important?
this is the most
This,
amazing
this
thing I've ever seen.
exactly. Now here's a very weird thing, and this is saying a
Uh-oh.
lot for Twin Peaks. So
Something's
Laura
wrong.
essentially gets ripped out of the Black Lodge.
Yeah, something's wrong with Laura, and I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with Carrie, but I don't know what it is yet.
So here's the obviously the $1 million question. What or who ripped Laura out of the Black Lodge and why?
That's the thing. Like I said, I think it has something to do with Carrie, but I don't know yet. So
But she becomes Carrie.
I know that's the thing.
So
Well,
did
you
did
know how
did she remove herself from the Black Lodge?
we talked about
Oh,
in
oh, and hey Troy, how's it going,
Troy,
buddy?
how you doing, horsey? You know how we talked about in episode 8 that Laura is what the lodge sends when people need her.
Right.
I'm wondering if something like that happened.
Interesting. Yeah,
So,
that's a good theory.
and now we're back.
That maybe the lodge spat her out.
Maybe the lodge took her somewhere else where she's more needed.
Right.
But again, this is we don't know it yet, but this is it future or is it past is a big deal.
Well, and this is a big tease for the ultimate big
Yeah,
revelation in the series. And at
right.
this point, obviously, it's only episode 2, so we're not quite sure, obviously what this meant at this point. But this is essentially the thing that you're not sure. Like, well, there's obviously timey-wimey stuff going on here.
Yeah, this is the foreshadowing of things to come that time is not exactly a linear concept right now here in Twin Peaks.
And we'll
So,
find out eventually that we start playing with like alternate timelines.
yes. Yes,
Oh,
we do.
now here's Cooper's first meeting with the
The arm,
the arm or the evolution of the arm.
the evolution of the arm, yes.
Yeah, evolution of the arm,
Of the arm
which is essentially an electric tree with a lump of flesh on top of it that can talk.
that can talk, yes.
Because as you do, as it happens.
Well, don't you have one of those trees in your backyard? Too?
I want one for Christmas. I want that as my Christmas tree.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Puts a little tinsel on the arm and light him up.
Yep. I'm gonna
You
go
don't
to the
even need
butcher.
to put lights on him because he's already electric.
He's already electric. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the butcher's at Christmas and get like a lung or something, and just sit it on top of a
Slap.
sycamore tree and send it to your house.
There you go. You could just kind of like get a Christmas turkey and stick it on top.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
oh god, tell me
yes,
when it's over.
it's over.
All right.
But we get that little flashback of Bob and doppelganger Cooper and Bob
Yep.
when Cooper was replaced.
Yeah. See,
And,
this is original.
yeah, this is obviously from the final episode of the original
Yes.
series, and Cooper's remembering this.
And Cooper's remembering what happened. Electricity.
He must come back in
No. What?
before you can go out.
Why? Why does Bob have to come back?
So I can't just leave on my own. I gotta wait for him to come back.
Gotta wait for his stupid ass.
Who made these rules?
Who made these rules? Flesh on a tree.
Exactly. Flesh ball.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know if I like this. I don't want to play by your rules.
I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
Deja vu.
It's like, listen, Sparky, I got my own rules.
I like to help, but I got my own problems.
Exactly.
So yeah, I wish that
So here's Mr. C getting a little, a little storage for one of his cars.
yeah. And here's the thing: it's like here's Mr. C and one of the never-ending supply of disgustingly filthy hillbillies that he has working for him.
Right. Like he knows the sleaziest people, but
Uh huh.
he's driving a really sweet sedan right here.
Yeah, he does. He has some nice rides. I will say that.
And it's
Mm.
spotless.
I gotta say that Kyle MacLachlan, I think, is
Now,
channeling
I'm
a
just
little
gonna
bit.
massage your mouth for no reason. You're
But
okay with that, right?
can you see Ray Wise doing this? I think he's channeling his inner Ray Wise because this is the kind of stuff that Ray
Right.
Wise did when he was Leland as Bob.
Right.
So,
It's an interesting idea. I wonder if he did borrow some from Ray's performance.
yeah, I'm wondering that too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Ray Wise, by the way, I asked him what he.
See, it all comes back to Ray Wise.
It all comes back to Ray Wise. I asked Ray Wise, how he, because there's an old story about someone told Christopher Reeve was talking one time about how when he plays Superman and when he plays Clark Kent, and somebody said, "Oh, you're never not Superman. You're always Superman. And when you're Clark Kent, you're Superman pretending to be Clark Kent." And I asked him, what was your process for being, and I told him, Charles, about our game that you and I play on this show, which is Leland or Bob.
Right.
And, how did you, uh-oh, I feel bad for Daria here.
Yep.
What did you,
But she's in her underwear, so she got that going for her.
but that's the thing is that, she's super, super vulnerable. And, as much as I'd love to be in my underwear in the same room with Kyle MacLachlan, not like this, baby.
Hashtag life goals.
Hashtag life goals, yeah. So, and I said, what was your process for going from Bob to Leland and from Leland to Bob? And he said he never focused on Bob. He just always focused on Leland and sort of the inner, the part of Leland that Bob was latching onto. He always thought about being Leland. He
Right.
never thought about being Bob. Which
That he was Leland trapped inside Bob.
right. Yeah. He never thought about being Bob at all. So
Well, that's
he
probably
also,
a good way to do it.
yeah. He also told us something interesting that when they filmed the episode where you find out who killed Laura,
Hmm.
they filmed 3 endings. One where it was him, one where it was Richard Baymer,
Right.
and one where it was Eric Daré.
I remember reading that.
And I thought that was a nice little insider tidbit that we got from
Yeah.
man himself.
Confirmed.
Oh, Daria, she's got to pretend like she likes him when she knows she's about to double cross him, and she's pretty sure that he knows that she's trying to double cross him.
Well, Daria probably figures, well, hey, look, I'm hot, and so therefore, I can manipulate him here.
And that's probably what she's been relying
But
on.
that's rather naive because she obviously doesn't know him like she thinks she does.
Well, and that's the thing about Bob, because let's not forget that. Yeah.
Yep.
See,
And here's where things go horribly, horribly wrong.
yeah, he knows that Jack set him up to die, and now he's. Hey, now Belly, get out and let Ferbs finish eating. Belly, my cats are playing a power game here.
I say that was a rather interesting segue you just did.
Sorry, you guys. But yeah, so
It's like I don't remember Xan's cats being in this scene.
now we find out that the phone call she thought she made to Ray, she made to Mr. C. So all the things that she told him,
So basically, she's busted.
she's busted. Yeah. Yep.
And it's not going to end well for her.
No, it is not going to end well for her. Oh, poor Daria.
Anybody else think it's interesting that Mr. C has a dictaphone?
I think it's awesome. Diane, I'm about to kill Daria.
Then I'm going to go out for some spelunking.
I just killed Jack, and the ammo for that cost $83.62.
Gonna picked up some supplies, some plastic sheeting
Gotta find out
down
what
at the hardware store for $13.98.
damn good tarp. Yeah, you're not getting away from Mr. C, Daria.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, poor thing.
Especially not after he just punched you right in the face.
Yeah. Ray is not in prison, but Ray has no idea what's going on either, so Ray's not coming to save her.
Well, David Lynch got a little criticism for this, for the violence against women.
Well, here's the thing.
But Mr. C is a horrible person.
Mr. C, I have no problem when we see horrible people doing horrible things. I would like to send the message
And it's not like
that
Daria's innocent here.
Daria is innocent of. She doesn't deserve to be murdered necessarily, but she was going to try and murder him. I mean, I'll give her that. But
It just,
the thing is, when we see horrible people doing horrible things, I like to think it sends the message that only horrible people do these horrible things. So,
or if you do horrible acts, eventually it's going to turn on you. And you're going to
but
get karma, essentially.
but I like the concept that the only person that would punch a woman in the face is evil incarnate.
Right,
So, and if you're going to do something like that, you're just evil incarnate and you're a horrible person.
right.
So maybe don't do that. So I think that granted, I think he shows a little bit more of this Daria scene than he does with him doing anything to anybody else. But I mean, he's not exactly nice to everybody else except for Daria. So,
And it's such a powerful performance by MacLachlan here.
oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it goes completely against his type. I mean, this is obviously not the mayor of Portlandia, for example.
No, this is not the mayor of Portland. This is not Charlotte's husband. This is not Dale Cooper either.
No.
This would make Dale Cooper sick.
This is
And Dale
not
Cooper,
even Mr. Hyde on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when he did that.
no, absolutely not. And I think that even when he is, oh, so now we're going to do our little prison thing.
Yep.
Even when he is Dale Cooper trying to pretend like he's Dale Cooper, gambler and whoremonger at One Eye Jacks,
Right.
he even when he's trying to play a part, I don't think he would ever punch a woman in the face
Oh,
like
I don't
this.
think so.
Yeah,
I remember him saying something. I don't know if it was on Twitter or what, because he's really active on Twitter.
he is a
That
Twitter
that
success.
he had a really hard time with this scene.
And I think, and that's what I'm saying. Like, good, decent people
Right.
are comfortable with this scene.
This should be a hard time. If you have a soul,
Yeah,
yeah, this should be pretty
yeah.
difficult for you to
If you have
do,
a soul, this should be hard to watch. And
and even harder to perform.
yeah. This is a Joker. You're supposed to remove these.
Yep. Nope.
What? That's an owl. That's an owl.
No. It's the experiment.
It's the experiment, but boy, does it look like an owl.
Yep.
Looks like an owl
So
to
you
me.
like my little customized Ace of Spades?
I made this deck myself. Do you want to play euchre?
Go fish.
Yeah, and I think you're supposed to be
Yes, Daria, I'm going to kill you now. And you are going to die because I am going to kill you.
because I'm a horrible person. And yeah. See, he's just
And now she's gone to Missoula, Montana.
yep, she's oh boy, this is rough.
Yep. Got to do the does a little silencer with a pillow thing,
Oh man.
and she's dead.
And Showtime, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
This show is so gory. I mean, compared to what I'm used to with Twin, I mean, I've seen a lot of gory movies in my life, but compared to what I'm used to with Twin Peaks, this show is super, super gory.
And this right here, yeah, shows the obviously the contrast between this and when it was on ABC television.
Yep.
Not sure you could get away with that with standards and practices on the ABC, even though Twin Peaks got away with a lot of stuff. I don't think they could have got away with that.
They're not going to get away with this. No, that's
They
for
got away
sure.
with smashing Maddie's face into like a picture frame,
And they got away with him smashing his own face into a mirror.
right? And a
And
cell door. Ray
yeah,
Wise, yeah.
Ray Wise just throwing his body all over the place. And now we're calling David Bowie,
Or who he thinks is David Bowie.
who he thinks is David Bowie. The characters are not what they seem on
Right.
this show.
Because the person that does the voice of Philip Jeffries in this is not the same person that does Philip Jeffries later in the series.
No, it is not. And
Because
neither of
because
them.
yeah, apparently the voice actor in this episode was uncredited. A little bit of trivia for you. And in the rest of the series, it's voiced by a guy named Nathan Frizzell.
Right.
So a lot of
And yes,
people seem to think that the person speaking here is an imposter of Philip Jeffries.
I like that theory personally. I think that's a great theory because, you know, and to me it's like all bets are off because none of them are David Bowie. I mean, David Bowie
Well,
was a lot.
even Mr. C seems to think he has this expression like, was that really Philip Jeffries I just talked to?
Yeah, I think Mr. C is a little bit suspicious of what's really going on here. And David Bowie was alive when this was being filmed, but he was very sick.
Right. And apparently he wasn't fond of his accent, so he asked that not to do that. Reprise Philip Jeffries.
See, and David Bowie, we didn't care. We just love you.
Yeah, we didn't care. I mean, yeah, it wasn't exactly the greatest Louisiana accent, but no
But
big deal. No big deal. We didn't care.
but you're David Bowie. I
We
mean,
just wanted to see you one more time.
that's just a lot is forgiven when you're David Bowie.
Yep. I think he's earned it.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I love
Uh,
this sort of
Let me just go on the internet, typey, 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 typey.
find my own coordinates. Damn it.
Yep. Let me just hack this prison computer,
Yeah, like you do.
like you do. It has that nice little download link. Very,
Yep.
very convenient. So he's downloading all kinds of schematics and stuff. Prison schematics, as it turns out.
He is up to no good. That's all I'm.
Now, again, at this point, we had no idea what the purpose of that was. Turns out there's a reason for it.
We're gonna find out everything here soon, kids.
Strap yourselves in, kids. We're going for a ride.
That's a ride. Oh, so gross. I mean,
At least he washed his hands.
no one is eating anything until Cooper washes his hands.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh goodness.
Dad?
And here we have yet again some more.
So here's it, yes. So we have the introduction of Jennifer Jason Leigh from Hudsucker Proxy fame, because I love her in that movie,
That is a good one.
as
I like
Chantal
that.
Hutchins. That's my favorite
Chantal.
Jennifer. Hudsucker Proxy is my favorite Jennifer Jason Leigh movie. Because she's so much like Lois Lane in that movie, it's frightening.
Favorite Jennifer Jason Leigh movie? That is a good question. Oh boy, I'd have to think on that for a while. Because there's so many good ones.
Single white female?
That's a good one, and so is The Hitcher, and of course, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mean, classic. You got to have Fast Times at Ridgemont
She's
High in
actually
there.
very good in Hateful Eight too.
I still haven't seen that.
She's
I
good in
need
it.
to I need to catch up on some stuff. I'm pretty behind on some things.
Meanwhile, back with the arm,
Back with the arm.
back with the electric tree.
Yes, Chantal. What's her husband's name? I can't think of it right now for some
Hi,
reason.
what? Oh,
Which
uh,
which
yeah, I forget her husband's name.
Oh, I can't think of
I know it's Tim Roth, the
it's
actor.
Tim Roth. Yeah, who was I they were probably my
Oh,
top five favorite new characters.
so so it's, so here we have the arm telling Cooper, okay, now's the time to make your move.
And that's the thing. It's like the White Lodge and the Black Lodge are they are connected for sure, but
As you can tell by the chevron floor.
as you can tell by the curtains and
Yep.
the flooring.
So looks like the as far as Cooper's concerned,
Skype seems glitchy.
Yep.
he can't quite get out of the Black Lodge. It's like, is this thing broken?
Well, here's the thing.
Where's the manager in this place?
Here's the thing about the Black Lodge, Charles. You can check out anytime you like.
But you can never leave.
You can never leave.
Nice. Welcome to the Black Lodge in California. No,
Outside of Seattle.
In Twin Peaks, Washington. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face that can be removed.
Plenty of room at the Black Lodge outside of Seattle. Any time of year.
It's Ray Wise, everybody.
Ray Wise! Woo!
TV's Ray Wise.
RoboCop's Ray Wise. Fine, Laura.
Find Laura. And that's it. Thank you, Ray Wise. Thanks for playing. Here's a copy of our home game.
But, Charles, how
How's-
much did we cheer this scene? How excited were we when we saw Ray Wise?
Right.
Exceedingly. We were so happy to see him come back as Leland Palmer.
Now, if I was Cooper, I would have been like, okay, so Leland, how am I supposed to do that? Got any clues there you want to drop on me? Or are you just going to just give me a 2-word mission and that's it?
Dude, she was just here. You just missed her.
It's not like she left a forwarding address.
She's kind of mysterious, that one.
Meanwhile, the chevron floor is getting a little trippy, y'all.
Meanwhile,
And Mike seems a little agitated, and so does the statue.
it's just a bad day for everybody here in the Black Lodge. Rough times.
Wrong. Wrong way.
My doppelganger.
So essentially, the arm has a doppelganger.
That's the thing,
So
man.
did the arm's doppelganger tell Cooper to the wrong directions?
Uh, so many questions.
So many questions
This show is an enigma wrapped in a conundrum,
wrapped in mystery.
wrapped in a vest.
Okay. Finally, it opens somewhere else.
What?
It's like, that doesn't look like Glastonbury Grove. Oh, this stupid lodge.
Cooper is not happy with what he sees.
Nope. It's like, wonder if this I can get HBO. Oh, and then all of a sudden,
What?
the arm goes completely berserk.
The arm is a little bit creepy, y'all.
What? It's like, chill, arm, chill.
It's a bad day to be Agent Dale Cooper. That's all I'm saying.
Not existent. That's all kinds of creepy, by the way. Especially if you watch this in a dark room.
Now it's dark.
Ugh.
And I do my best to watch Twin Peaks in the dark whenever I
So,
possibly.
and he falls through the glass.
And
And now,
well,
oh,
see,
where is he? He's in the glass box, y'all.
that glass box that we saw last time, and we saw that it
Yep.
basically ate two people. That glass box, Charles,
Yep. Well, put him in the blender,
put him in the blender,
the experiment blender.
and he just
I'm
floats
just
right through.
floating away. I'm like a little fluffy cloud.
See, if you hadn't been having sex, you would have seen this happen,
Right.
and you would have made your money, sir.
Well, this is where they're out of the room.
Yeah, this is when they're out of the room.
And they're getting caught, like they're all talking about coffee and nonsense.
Try me.
You're a bad girl, Tracy.
Poor Tracy. She's just trying to flirt with somebody. She has no
Right.
idea how badly that's going to end.
Try to do her little coffee move.
Yep, she tries. Hey, I got 2 cups of coffee. You want it? No, Tracy, run. This is not a good scene.
And then suddenly we go back to the first episode.
Oh, in case you forgot,
Yeah. And Cooper is thinking, okay, floating in a glass box.
can you hear me?
Hello? Hello?
I'm here floating in a glass box, please. Somebody.
Bueller?
Oh, what the heck's going on here?
So, okay, so now we're kind of going back and forth and
Pretty sure he's folding space here, Charles.
pretty sure. Yep.
Yeah.
I see 2 great houses. House
I see-
Harkonnen, House Atreides.
I see you behind it. Why would the arm want Cooper killed?
And now he's floating through space.
This is ground control to Agent Cooper.
Nice. He's stepping through the dark.
I really miss David Bowie.
Meanwhile, at the Palmer house, Sarah Palmer is watching animals being massacred.
Oh,
Or is it Sarah Palmer?
I do not want to F with this, whatever it is.
Or is perhaps the experiment watching animals being massacred?
Who knows, man?
Remember, well, as we find out in episode 8, she's got a little something inside her that's probably been here a long time.
Sarah Palmer's got some history.
Since the 50s, at least.
Since the 1950s, yeah, for sure.
And here we have the her mirrors reflecting those images,
Uh-huh.
which is interesting.
God, Grace Zabriskie, isn't she fantastic?
She can smoke those cigarettes like nobody's business.
If I had a nickel for every cigarette your mom smoked,
I'd have
I'd be dead.
$5.85. No.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Nom 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 nom. Happy International Cat Day, everybody.
Oh,
And here we have the best song from The Return.
Zan's new favorite song, yep. And this became
Shadow by the Chromatics.
Shadow by the Chromatics. Take me down. This became sort of a
Take me
take me
down
down
with you for the
for the
last time.
for the last
For the
time.
last. Shots.
Shots with who's doing shots?
Oh, it's Shelley.
Shelley!
Hey, Machen Amick. How you doing?
Oh, I love Shelley.
And interestingly, she's credited in this episode. Oh, hey, it's Freddie McRubberfist, everybody.
Freddie McRubberfist and
And he
James-
does have his rubber fists on,
He does. He has his
which we didn't notice at the time.
No, we just probably thought like, who's that weirdo? You know?
Yeah, who's that guy with James? Because we're all focused on James.
Oh, yeah. No, Steven is terrible. But
Yeah, you don't want to go anywhere near Steven.
can you hear me?
James is still cool.
James has always been cool. And I think this is an interesting.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
And I said this at the time when we first saw this episode. What is James thinking here? Is she just reminding him of
I don't know,
his
because
days?
they've never been involved, at least in the original
As
series.
far as I know,
Right.
I have no idea. But yeah, James is. There's nothing wrong with him. James
Well,
is in a motorcycle accident. Poor James. James has always been cool. Aw.
well, Donna's out of the picture. Laura's dead.
Look, 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 look.
Yep, it's Red.
It's red, but look behind him.
Yep, it's Walter Okowitz, everybody,
Walter Olkowitz.
playing yet another Renault.
Yep, and
This
I love
this one
that he's in this.
this one is Jean-Michel Renault for all you keeping score at
Jean-Michel
home.
Jean-Michel Renault, who is whose kid is he? I forget whose kid he is.
I don't know.
I don't remember
Uh,
where he falls in the family
I mean,
line.
he looks older, so I guess he has to be like a brother, maybe?
I don't know if he's a brother
Another Renault brother?
or a nephew or something, but
Cousin,
I mean,
maybe?
in fact, even though that Jacques Renault died in the original series, they wrote in another Renault brother or another Renault for Walter Okowitz to play.
Yep.
Which is fantastic.
Keep killing off the Renaults. They can just make up one more. No big deal.
It's just not the Roadhouse without a Renault.
Nope.
And see, they really do kind of remind us here that James is really kind of a cool guy. He's a nice guy. He wants to do the right thing.
Yep.
He's motivated by love. He's sort of a brooding, tortured soul. But, yeah, Charles, I know I've told you before that after this episode aired, I became like a ridiculous fan of the Chromatics and Johnny Jewel both.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I fell in love with this song.
Oh yeah,
Like, Ruth Radlett can do no harm, do no wrong as far as I'm concerned.
I think this show this show, what did it end at like 11 o'clock? And I think by 11:03 I had this purchased on iTunes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's such a classic Julie Cruz dream pop kind of song.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
And that's probably why it's my favorite.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's so close to Julie Cruz.
Frank Silva gets a credit.
Yep.
I love it.
As he should.
As well he should.
This was such a perfect ending to this episode and to the two episodes when we watched it originally. It was like a perfect capper.
Yeah. Oh, it was perfect.
And we were just like, Twin Peaks is back, baby.
Twin Peaks is back!
It's back, bitches.
This became such a bittersweet moment in Twin Peaks because every episode ends at the Roadhouse. And so when you see a band at the Roadhouse, you're like, no, the episode's over!
Right.
I don't want the episode to be
Lynch,
over.
It's interesting because Frost and Lynch, they decided, okay, we want to give the viewers back to even though with all the craziness that goes on and we're all over the country and the world,
Look,
we bring everything back. Yeah, in memory of Frank Silva.
Frank Silva.
Yep, he gets a dedication.
Which I hate that I have to do that so many times in this series, but they do it a lot in this series, which I think is great.
And there's
Lynch Frost Productions.
Yep.
Frank Silva was the first cast member of Twin Peaks to pass away. Because I think he passed away in 93?
Something like that, yeah. That sounds right. It sounds right.
Yeah.
And that's our episode, everybody.
That's our episode.
How great was that?
God, do you remember how horrible it was to wait an entire week to watch the next episode?
That was agony.
That was so hard.
That was
it's like I've waited 25 years, but
right.
I can't wait this next week. It's gonna be killing me.
Yeah.
It was like every Sunday morning I'd wake up like, it's Twin Peaks Day. It's Twin Peaks Day.
Yeah. So do you have a rating?
Are we rating this episode or are we rating both of them?
Let's rate this episode.
This episode.
Because there's a lot going on in this episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this episode is 9.5 out of 10 bowls of creamed corn.
Why the half point deduction?
Um, the half point deduction comes from.
Just because you don't want to give it a perfect 10.
No, I'm still having a hard time. I was wondering how I'd feel about it, but I'm still having a hard time with. And I probably shouldn't be deducting points for this, but I'm still having a hard time waiting. I'm having a hard time knowing that both Coopers are there, but we still don't get them. We still don't get, that doppelganger Cooper's living his best life, and Agent Cooper proper is, still trying to find his way out.
Right. Well, essentially, proper Agent Cooper, had his life ripped away from him.
I'm still having a hard time with that. And it has nothing to do with
the prime of his life has been ripped out.
Yeah,
because of that little 25-year pause.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the writing. It has nothing to do with production. It has nothing to do with the episode itself. But I'm still having a hard time with it. So,
well, I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Removable Laura Palmer faces.
Nice. Okay, so you're giving me a hard time about a half point deduction.
I know. Well, it seemed a little odd that you were doing a half point. Like, see,
yeah.
I was just trying to keep it from being a 10.
Okay. No, I got it. Maybe on third watching I'll wind up giving this a 10, but I will say that when it comes to I don't want to say reboots, but returns of series,
right?
Which you're doing a lot of. I don't know, Charles, if you were able to catch the 90210.
No, I heard about it
last night, but I
heard it was really badly acted.
I can't wait to see it. Honestly, Jenny Garth and Tori Spelling are going on tour and doing like a 2-woman show where they're talking about stories of what it was like, what their time was like. I want to go so bad because I hated 90210 when it first came out, and then I started watching it in reruns in college, and I'm like, this is the greatest, cheesiest, most awesomest thing ever. Anyway, long story short, we're seeing a lot of returns. We had the return of Roseanne, we had the return of Will and Grace, we had the return of Twin Peaks. Now there's the return of 90210. All these 90s shows that we loved are coming back, and this one does a fantastic job of not just showing you. It basically says, okay, we know why you're here. The show, you see Cooper. We know why you're here. We know you want to know what happened to Agent Cooper. But it also sets up a bunch of new storylines, and you care. Like, I want to know, what is the deal with Principal Hastings, his wife? Why does Doppelganger Cooper know who his wife is? Why did he kill her? What's the deal with Hawk and the log lady?
Right.
It does a great job of opening a bunch of can of worms that I'm going to want to see later.
And at this point we were just going like, how does this all connect?
Yeah, and we care because even though I found myself, and then of course this at the end, it's like, oh my God, James came back, because the last time we saw James, he was like on his way to Canada after having the James Hurley saga. And so we don't know what's the deal with James. Why is he back? Who's this guy he's with? We know that.
What is up with Shelley kind of flirting, or at least being James curious?
Yeah. And Shelley has a daughter, and who's the father?
Right.
Like, Shelley could have very easily.
And who's Steven at this point?
Yeah, who's Steven? Shelley could have very easily been pregnant by, Leo and not know about it. Is it Bobby's? Is it Gordon Cole's? I don't know.
That's possible.
I mean, yeah. Gordon Cole kind of likes hookers, but that's still.
I like to think that Shelley just kind of patronized him a little bit. Just kind of went along with his flirtations, but didn't really she didn't clinch the deal.
Yeah, I think they just flirted.
Yeah, I think it was. I think Cole would have, but I don't think Shelley would have.
Probably, yeah. I don't know if Shelley would have, but so and I found myself in this episode thinking, oh, Shelley has a daughter. I hope it's with Bobby.
Right.
Like when during the original series did I ever want good things for Bobby Briggs?
Yeah.
Like never. And so this, we don't know it yet, but this show is doing a good job of reminding you that yes, we're going to get to the characters you know and love.
We haven't forgotten them. Yeah.
Because part one, we saw Dr. Jacoby and the Horn brothers, and it's getting there, so they're going to hit everybody you want to see. But it's also telling these new stories that you really want to know what's going on. Like, I want to know what the deal is with Bill Hastings. Like, that's a mystery that I have, and because we don't know yet, do we? That's Major Briggs' body, do we?
No, we don't. No, we don't. You kind of
so,
glitched up there a little bit, but I'm sure you're talking. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you froze, so I'm sure it was my glitch. But so we don't know that kind of stuff yet. But it's really interesting. Like he and Bill Hastings is not from Twin Peaks, but he's saying all kinds of Twin Peaks stuff. Like, I know she's dead, and I wasn't there, but I saw it, I dreamt it. All of his stuff is like very Twin Peaksy. So it's doing a fantastic job of getting us hooked again.
And then you're wondering what Mr. C is up to. There's so much going on here.
He's got all those
and he's got all these minions everywhere.
So many criminal fires. Like, what the hell's his deal? You know. So yeah.
And and there's still more to come. Obviously, we're just scratching the surface. This is only episode 2.
Episode 2 of 18 episodes.
Right, exactly. We're only 1/9 through the return, so yeah.
Sure, we got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about, and stuff that we're just going, how does this all fit with each other, and what does it have to do with Twin Peaks? But we find out what it has to do. Some things we don't. I mean, some things we kind of they just happen. But by and large, we find out how the things fit together.
We figure out a lot of stuff.
There is a plan. It's hard to see at this point, but there is a plan.
We get there. Yeah, we get there.
And if nothing else, we get some awesome music at the end of every episode.
Almost every episode.
Almost every episode. Yeah, we won't. Yeah, there's a couple episodes that are just like, I'm not really feeling this one, but
not feeling it. But so about soundtrack
for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, I still bought the CD and vinyl versions of the soundtrack. So
yeah, I love the soundtracks obviously the Angelo Badalamenti score is great.
I started to tell you, Charles, that a couple of weeks ago, that actually the night before we saw Ray Wise and Sheryl Lee, I went to Cleveland and I saw James, the band James.
Yeah, who did Laid, yeah.
Yes, who did Laid. And Tim Booth, the leader of the band James, did an album with Angelo Badalamenti.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You did not know that?
I did not know that.
With Tim Booth. Tim Booth and Angelo Badalamenti did this album right here. It's called Booth and the Bad Angel. And I don't know if you're noticing, but there's no signature on this.
Right.
I was unable to meet Tim Booth, unfortunately. But this is...
Yeah, for those obviously in podcast land who can't see, this is like a promotional release. So it's got the no sale.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this was their album that they did together, and that's what I was going to have him sign, but unfortunately,
nope,
that did not happen. So.
Sadly, well, maybe someday.
Maybe someday. But, yeah, I highly recommend checking that out if you can find it. Booth and the Bad Angel is what it's called.
I like how you've turned your headphones into a visor.
I'm getting a headache from the headphones.
Yeah.
So I had to do something. I moved them off of my ears.
That's okay.
And slightly above my ears, so I can still hear you reverberating inside of my skull.
Yeah, we got to do something about Xan's brain, y'all. She's been having some headaches lately.
Oh my god, it's allergies. Because every time I go to the doctor for it, they're like, "Yeah, your eardrums look like they have pressure behind them. There's fluid in your eardrums," and they're always trying to give me nasal sprays and stuff. And Benadryl helps, but yeah, no, I'm not good with headphones.
That's all right. I'm
not good with headphones.
We appreciate your sacrifice.
Headbands. Like, even headbands I can't wear.
Really? That's even just too much pressure?
It's too much pressure. Earmuffs, every year for Christmas for like 10 years.
So you couldn't wear like a winter hat?
Yeah, on a hat. Yeah, every year for Christmas my mom tried to give me earmuffs. Do you want earmuffs? I'm like, no, they hurt. Hurt my head.
So you've had it that long. That's a long time.
I'm just a delicate flower, Charles.
You are. You're very fragile.
I'm just
And
glad they don't.
you're like an orchid. You're very delicate, and and you're near Harold Smith. Yes, as he rakes his face.
I'm doing my Harold Smith impression.
Yeah.
I do not
Uh,
have a garden trowel with me, but I was pretending with my
that was
hand.
good. Yes,
So,
that was pretty
yeah.
epic. All right. So that's our episode. Anything else you want to add about this episode before we give our closing remarks?
Nothing else about this episode.
All right.
Just, I'm just excited to watch more. Even
Yep.
though I've seen this show before, I'm excited to watch
Yeah,
more.
exactly. I mean, obviously we've watched this before, but yeah, it's getting. I mean, it's kind of cool to get back in the groove after
Heck
all this
yeah.
time. Yeah. So next time on Ghostwood, obviously we're going to talk Call for Help. Call for Help.
Call for
The
help.
third episode of season three, a.k.a. the Return Part 3,
Do they
and
have
find out where Agent Cooper went. Because Cooper's in
Cooper with Las
space.
Vegas?
Space.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is pre-Dougie, so
it's pre-Dougie. That's
it's
true.
pre-Dougie. But we get
Yeah.
we get we get one more episode of Cooper before he goes full Dougie on us.
Douglas Jones is a ninja.
I love that line. That was one of my favorite lines through the return.
He's like a cobra.
Yep. So Zane, where can they reach you on the interwebs?
I can be found on the Twitters and on the Instas at Udinax19, and of course on the Facebook on the Ghostwood page on the
Right.
Facebook. What about you, Charles?
Well, obviously, if you want to reach us here at Ghostwood, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we would.
Love to hear your thoughts on the return as we're going through these bit by bit. So if you want to drop us a line, please do at ghostwoodpodcast@gmail.com, the Gmail, or at Ghostwoodcast on Twitter, or Ghostwood the Twin Peaks Podcast, that great Facebook site
Heck
where we
yeah.
post all kinds of cool. I posted all my photos from the Twin Peaks event with Ray Wise and Sheryl Lee,
Yep.
so you can see
I
mine.
have- So
Yeah. So all Zan has to do is just kind of like cut out my face and kind of paste hers in, and
I
she
just
can.
got photos. Yeah.
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 They're going to be much better photos, obviously, because if I'm cut out of them. So they have. So you can
Yours are
see
better
those.
than mine in them.
No. But I also I have some pictures of the event, including like I've got a picture of the screening. When they had the like. Not just like it was right before they showed Fire Walk with Me. They had this kind of Twin Peaks retrospective. Like the
Yeah.
best of. It was like a best of highlights reel.
Yep.
And I remember everybody in the theater. They're like the whole theater just like freaked out the moment James started playing "Just You."
Yeah.
You remember that moment?
I do.
You like half the crowd is just like ah, like they were
Oh my
like they were
God.
stabbed in the eye. They were just reacting so horribly, and I'm just
What-
sitting there going, "Yes, yes, bring it on, bring it on. I'm all for it." And I, but forever. Yep. So I'm sure there's people like cringing as we're singing this, but
Oh,
so yeah,
let's
drop us a
sing
li-
that song.
exactly. Drop us a line if check us out if you want to check all those photos out. You can just go on our Facebook account, Ghost with the Twin Peaks Podcast. Um, as for me, of course, at Charles Skaggs on Twitter, at Charles Skaggs on Instagram, Facebook, of course, Charles Skaggs in Hilliard, Ohio, and my blog of geeky things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about all the stuff we talk about here on Ghostwood. All kinds of Twin Peaks, David Lynch stuff, new comic book sci-fi news of my other podcasts that I do for the Southgate Media Group, including Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast that, hey, Zan was on episode 150. You guys should all download that because it's awesome.
You should totally listen to episode 150. It's a lot of fun.
The Stolen Earth. Check that one out. It's a keeper. And Zan obviously is welcome back anytime.
Thanks, Charles.
Whenever we can find that tiny, tiny, tiny hole in her schedule. Because
I
she's
love it when I get to
because she's
guest
little Miss
there
Popular.
in the TARDIS.
Yep.
Good time.
Yep. And obviously we're going to talk some more Doctor Who. We're going to be talking on Sunday. I'm going to be talking Battlefield from the Sylvester McCoy era, Zan's
Mm.
favorite era, because it has Ace, her favorite
Hey,
companion. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a new person that's never co-hosted as a guest companion on that,
and how do you know her, Charles?
because she does the email.
That's the thing.
It's
This is
Holly
what
Mack. See,
contact us,
so
y'all.
see, if you reach out to us, like, hey, like at ghostwoodpodcast@gmail.com,
Mm-hmm.
you can maybe like hook up with us, and if you want to like maybe come on the
You can
podcast with us.
call Skype. You never know what could happen.
Exactly. Like if we could handle like you, me, and four other people, and we still got through it somehow on Skype.
Yeah. Well, Charles was a good wrangler, I have to say.
uh, I did okay. You know, I tried to,
You did.
I tried to be the good, moderator for the event. I
You
hope.
did a great job.
Thank you. I hope I did. I tried. I tried
And
really
then
hard.
tell us what you think of Charles.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, you can check out Next Stop Everywhere, or Titan Talk. We're going to be bringing Titan Talk back because Titan Season 2 is coming back to DC Universe in just less than a month.
that's
And we
right.
already got a trailer out, and that looks pretty good. Lots of cool stuff going on. So if you're a Titans fan or DC Universe fan, you want to check out Titan Talk, we'll be bringing that back. Otherwise, until then, we're going to be doing the Fandom Zone podcast that I do with Jesse Jackson, who is also on Next Stop Everywhere with yours truly.
I'm
And
gonna have to watch
we're watching
Earth, man.
we're watching
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Krypton, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we're talking just the 8th episode. We're going to be doing that on Sunday as well because I don't have enough podcasts going on.
No, you don't have enough to do.
I don't have enough to do. But so yeah, we're going to be talking that, and we're getting into the home stretch because there's only like 10 episodes, and then we'll go be back on Titan Talk, and we'll talk some
Let's be
Titans.
ready to talk about the Crisis Infinite Earth with Kevin Conroy.
We're going to be doing that. I can't wait for
I am
that.
so excited for, man.
There is so much cool stuff they've talked about, because we're getting for those who are not aware, the CW crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths, based on the classic comic maxi series by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. One of my favorite things ever. The you're getting stuff like Brandon Routh is going to be appearing as Superman and maybe the Kingdom Come Superman.
See, and I liked Superman Returns. I feel like I'm the only one
Right.
sometimes.
I liked everything. I like Brandon Routh as Superman. I thought he did fine.
Well,
But
I
I
hate
did,
to admit it
but
now. I liked Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor also.
but I was not a fan of the Lois Lane in that one. Kate, whatever her last name is.
Kate Beckinsale. I could take
No,
her.
it's not,
or leave her.
it wasn't Kate Beckinsale.
Was it Kate Beckinsale?
She was
No,
in
it wasn't Kate Beckinsale. It was
Kate something else.
no, it was Rachel McAdams.
No, that wasn't Rachel McAdams. Rachel McAdams
Okay.
was in Doctor
Memorable
Strange.
to you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look her up. But anyway,
I,
I did.
but
I thought you.
speaking of Lois Lane, you know who was in that movie?
Who?
Noelle effing Neal, you all.
Right. Exactly.
She was in that movie, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I already love this movie. She's in
Well,
like the first 5 minutes, and I already
Well,
love
they had
it.
Jack Larson in Superman Returns.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the original Jimmy Olsen from Adventures of Superman. Not really original, but yeah,
Right.
he was from the 1950s show.
Well,
So,
they were both in the original 1978 Superman too.
right.
So I liked that they both came back for cameos.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, like, and there's John Wesley Shipp is going to be back as the Flash, which is awesome. Which is just like my geek dream come true to see him as the Flash again, and it's so great.
Seriously, the reason I bring it up is because my high school life, which was 1990 to 1994,
Right.
pretty much defined by two things: Twin Peaks and Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
So Kevin Conroy being Bruce Wayne is like,
Right. Yeah. And so I kind of wonder if he's going to be like the Batman Beyond future Bruce Wayne, the older
yeah.
Bruce Wayne. But either way, it's going to be cool. And Burt Ward is going to be in this as returning as Robin, or
so
something
cool.
else. So yeah, so he had from the 1960s Batman TV series.
Yep.
So he's going to be involved in this, and probably some other people we don't even know about. I know Linda Carter was approached, but
I
I think she's doing a cameo in Wonder Woman 1984
She
instead.
is doing a cameo in Wonder Woman 1984. That is
So
true.
yeah, so she might be doing that instead.
But it's like the greatest of 90s, in my opinion, the
Yes,
greatest 90s TV shows
right.
back from, they're back from stasis.
Now, if Conroy's involved, you got to get Mark Hamill in there somewhere, right?
Man.
How great would that be to have Conroy and
Mark
Hamill?
Hamill, Adrian Barbeau, Paul Williams.
Is Paul Williams still alive?
Oh yeah,
I didn't know he's still alive. Okay, good,
yeah, sure.
good. But yeah, or hey, bring in David Warner as Ra's al Ghul.
Please, David
He
Morse,
was a great Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, number four. Yeah,
number 4 on my list.
number four on
Yeah.
your list. All right. Okay, Sark is number four on your list.
Sark, the devil, whatever you want to call him.
Exactly. All right. So obviously we're digressing quite a bit here as we sign off, but yeah, check out the Phantom Zone podcast. We're doing Krypton, and it's cool, and it's been a lot of fun. And they just killed off another character, so how great is that? It's getting all
See,
Game of
that's
Thrones. Game.
yeah.
It's like
I need to catch.
It's like Game of Krypton these days. It's Game of Krypton. So everybody, come on back. We're going to talk Call for Help next time. Yep, Call for Help. So we'll talk about that at episode. What are we
One
at?
more
60,
time.
number 60. We'll talk about that, and yeah, we'll see what goes on. And everybody, watch some Twin Peaks, and then come on back, and we'll talk some Twin Peaks. And how great is that? So we'll see you next time,
That's a
right
good day.
here on Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.